The one night that we wait for, when it's all put on the line. We all striving to reach the top and be the champion this time.
I'm gonna be a champion. Yeah, I got what it takes. Risk it all, make my own fate. Yeah, I'm gonna be a champion. All the glory and the fame, jet setting in my own plane. I'm gonna be a champion. Silhouettes in the spotlight, cash falling from the sky. Yeah, I'm gonna be a champion. So all it takes is one night for me to turn around my whole life. Say it's easy.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to another edition of Change the F Up, the only place where we ask the question, why change, why? And we answer that question, sort of, kind of. I am, of course, Nate the Effing Great, joined here, as always, by the lovely and very talented VicTori. Belle, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing amazing. I'm excited to be here.
And again, guys, we are going to be doing the Shoulda Woulda Couldas for the Oscars, and we're going to be covering actor and actresses. Quite a bit of a tougher list for us both. And, oh boy, going to be interested in hearing what you guys have to say. But before we get into that, just a few movies that are actually going to be coming out this week. I'm mainly focusing on the ones that are severely highlighted. There are a couple of limited engagements or some that are coming only in New York and LA, but I figured, I'm just going to stick with the ones that are going to be more well-known. United Kingdom is coming out for limited theaters. But the main three that are coming out this Friday are John Wick Chapter 2, Keanu Reeves returns, and it looks kind of a promising movie. Lego Batman, the movie is coming out. I just watched the Lego movie this morning, so I figured, oh boy, now I gotta watch this, and now I gotta watch, Lego Batman that's coming out. It's gonna be awesome. Will Arnett and Zach Galifianakis are gonna be teaming up in this one, so that's gonna be very interesting. And of course, everybody's favorite sexually abused but actual story-wise movie, 50 Shades Darker returns. Christian Grey as well as Anastasia make their return to the big screen with a little bit more of a plot to it, so it's probably going to be one of those things where most of us are going to see it because of Dakota Johnson, because she somehow is better than the actor himself anyway. So that is coming up this Friday, but today, again, we're talking about Shoulda Woulda Couldas, actors and actresses. Oh boy. So let's kick it off with the actors, and I believe in chivalry, so would you like to kick it off, VicTori?
Sure. Let's start with 2010. The winner of Best Actor in a Leading Role was Jeff Bridges for Crazy Heart. And I love Jeff Bridges. I love him to death, so it was hard to choose over him. But I really loved the movie Up in the Air, and the reason I loved the movie Up in the Air was because of the great George Clooney, and he was nominated for this as Best Actor in a Leading Role. And it was one of those movies that you're like, the only reason it was entertaining at all was because of George Clooney. And, I mean, Anna Kendrick's also added to the entertainment. But I have to say, when an actor basically has to talk about a boring subject of flying on an airplane by himself in business class over and over again, and he can make it entertaining and make me watch him do it for like 2 hours, I feel like it's a good movie. And George Clooney made that a good movie, so I could see him winning. I could have saw him winning in 2010.
It is kind of like a hit and miss with George Clooney. There's some movies where he seems like he fits in very well, but then there's other movies where it's just kind of like, not exactly the best role for you, George. Probably could have picked somebody else. Batman and Robin. Sorry. I got that out of my system. We're all good. I'm actually going to go with my first pick a year before that in 2009, where the winner was Sean Penn in Milk, but I actually was hoping that Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler was going to win that one, and honestly, it does kind of hit close to home because as a wrestling fan, you kind of have a little more appreciation for this movie, but Mickey Rourke just does such an amazing job telling a story of what life is like as a wrestler on the road and off the road, all the sacrifices you have to make, all the changes you have to make because of physical limitations, and everything that he did in this movie just really kind of captivated and brought out like what exactly it was to be a wrestler. And throwing in a couple of the actual wrestling stars kind of made it a little interesting. R-Truth was involved in it, a couple other people were involved in it, and they actually did a lot of random wrestling styles, so I thought that was actually pretty cool. But again, just talking about all the trials, tribulations, everything it is to be a wrestler, and all the sacrifices you made and the sacrifices that your family makes, just really makes it that much more of a emotionally gripping, captivating movie. I think that, it was a grave injustice that he didn't win, but I'm sure Sean Penn did something good. I mean, you can't go wrong with the name of Milk, as I roll my eyes. Jeez Louise. Who do you got next?
We're freezing. We were freezing for a second. Just letting you know. Like, the Skype was frozen. I was nervous. I'm like, you just stopped talking for a really long time.
Oh, no. Jeez.
But just throwing it out there for everyone, if we stop talking awkwardly, it's probably because one of us is frozen.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Skype, for being such great sponsors. No, I'm kidding. Skype, you're awesome. Just work on a couple things. Anyway,
all right.
Who you got for number two?
Let's go with, in 2011, Colin Firth won for the King's Speech, which, again, I've already talked about this in the last previous episode of how I didn't really have any reason to go see that movie. It was just a little, like King's Speech. So he probably did a really good job, and he had to act as a person who has a really bad stutter. That would be really hard to continuously have to do that, and when you don't have a stutter, and it would be really hard to live with a stutter. So all the love to that movie and Colin Firth for being able to pull that off, but I have to say the role that I thought was a little bit harder was James Franco for 127 Hours, which was literally a movie about a rock climber hiker guy going up by himself, which is probably dumb, but he went up by himself and he got his arm caught under a rock for 127 hours. And so the whole movie revolves around James Franco being able to act by himself, just in an awkward, painful situation. Of course, his arm wasn't being crushed at the time, but just sitting there and trying to be a phenomenal actor with no support around you is just crazy. So I have to give it to him that he did an amazing job. And I think this was like one of his last movies of him trying to be like serious James Franco. So I really liked it. I miss serious James Franco. I know he's really hilarious now, and his movies now are entertaining, but I miss him. I miss him in his serious, brooding roles. So yeah.
It is kind of surprising how some actors and actresses can go into a different kind of genre, and they just excel so well at that genre. You mentioned James Franco being a serious actor. I think the only time I really saw that was probably when he was Harry Osborn in the Spider-Man series, and again, did a great job. There was very little humor there. I would actually like to see him do more of a serious role in the near future. I'm hoping that happens. Which is kind of an interesting transition for me, because I'll be going to 2013, where the winner was Daniel Day-Lewis for the role that he had in Lincoln. And you know what? As much as I love Abraham Lincoln, I had to go with Hugh Jackman in Les Mis. And I was actually talking to some of my coworkers this morning. It was just so weird and so bizarre when you see somebody that you're used to seeing in like an action series or an action role, being more the badass, and then you see them in this musical deal, and it's like, well, they might do okay, and they just excel beyond expectations. And Hugh Jackman definitely did an amazing job in this movie. Les Mis, of course, I've always said in the past, is a little bit more of a somber, very depressing movie for me, but I think Hugh Jackman did an amazing job playing the role of Jean Valjean. And hey, props to you, man, for giving your all in that. So definitely think that he deserves a lot more credit for that role.
Nice. Yeah, I'll stick with the same year because my next two choices are actually in the same year.
Oh,
so
boy.
do you want me to just give both and then you go on for your third and fourth as well?
Yeah, let's just do that. So
yeah. All right. Well, I too didn't always didn't think Daniel Day-Lewis was amazing, even though he really was. And in Lincoln, he does method acting where he legit makes himself look like the actor and then stays with it for the whole time they're shooting, which is an insane version of acting, and it's really hard to do, so props to you, sir. But I really liked, my number 3 pick was Bradley Cooper for 2013 in Silver Linings Playbook, which was an awesome movie. I loved that movie, and I loved J-Law and Bradley Cooper in that, and their chemistry, and how they're just really just normal people growing up in the New England area, like Boston area, or was it Boston or no, it was New York, because they loved the Eagles, or is it New Jersey? Now I'm feeling dumb because Eagle fans everywhere are going to kill me, but it might be New Jersey actually.
Eagle is in Pennsylvania, and the Giants is New York.
That upper part of the world. And so, basically, yeah, they're diehard Eagle fans and just blame everything on that. And for some reason, he all of a sudden wants to learn to dance, and it's hilarious. And the same year, my number 4 pick would be Denzel Washington for Flight, which that was another insane movie. Like, that was about a pilot being accused of being under the influence and crashing and then saving the plane all at the same time. So that was insane. And it basically, he was kind of like, he was a pilot that had a minor drinking issue, but he was able to save a plane that was literally flipped on its head and save like all the passengers. But of course, since it's an airline thing, he gets sued, and they have to figure out if he was really at fault in the first place. And he just, it's Denzel Washington. He's phenomenal actor. Always love him in all the roles, and the fact that he was kind of not like the typical like straight edged guy in this just made it so much better, and made you like really be like, I don't know if we should like him or not. Like, did he? Oh my gosh, it makes you question yourself. Like, maybe he did do it on accident. It wasn't him being a saver or hero or whatnot. But no, so number 3 and number 4 all came from 2013. It was a good year for movies.
Well, kind of getting a little off topic here, but we'll have to mention this after we get all of our picks done. Denzel Washington is actually nominated this year for actor in a leading role for his performance in Fences, so possibly he could win it this year. But I'm guessing with how La La Land is going, that's going to be very tough. But we will discuss a little bit more of that in just a bit. So I have to do 2. Okay. Well, I'll start off in the same direction you did. I'll start in 2015. I think it was Eddie Redmayne for Theory of Everything. I went with Bradley Cooper for American Sniper. Just another powerful movie that really shows, what it's like to not only be in the Army, but also all of the effects that you have going through everything that you've done. Because I remember it was Gran Torino that Clint Eastwood, he was talking to, I forgot what the kid's name was. If you know the name, please help me out. I'm trying to remember who it was, but he had the line of, have you ever killed a person? It's one of the worst feelings ever. And that's kind of what Bradley Cooper's character goes through here. And again, just phenomenal. Bradley Cooper as a comedic role, great. Also, cheap plug as Rocket for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 comes out this year. Awesome. But when he does serious roles, he just really somehow surprises a lot of people at how well he does. And I thought American Sniper was done very well. His character worked perfectly, and in all honesty, should have gotten the win that year. But I guess Theory of Everything beats, American Sniper, I guess. Now I got to go back a year to 2014, where the winner was Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyer Club, but I actually went with Christian Bale in American Hustle, and we've spoken so highly about Christian Bale, whether he is just, I think that he really excels when it comes to just, charming, smart, cunning roles. And in this role that he was in American Hustle, again, just